Welcome to Honestly Rated, and today we'll be taking a look at your favorite oil making machine, Hothead. With this fire giant today, we'll be taking a look at his design and overall gameplay to really see how bright of a burn Hothead can really make. But before we jump into Hothead's gameplay, let me tell you about his lore. So, he was once just a fire golem that was often angry because, you know, most things that are on fire usually are angry. Also, look at his name. I think you could guess. But with it, he wanted to be a little less angry, so he jumped into a magical pool of oil, because I guess there's just one of those laying around next to a fire golem, and, you know, fire, oil, boom! Whole island kind of explodes and turns into a giant fireball. If there was anything on there that wasn't on fire, probably it's all dead. They don't really say it, though. But with it, he got the ability to now have infinite oil inside of him, which is kind of cool. Don't let America know that. And with it, his anger was still there, but he channeled all his angers to the Archaeans, and now he was part of Skylands to go fight those guys. So, hey, at least he put it up to good use. And again, I don't know if he killed a bunch of innocent people on that poor island. They don't say, but like I have to guess. One other thing I'd like to say is that if you want to see your Skyline potentially in Honestly Rated next, all you gotta do is leave it down in the comments. And if you don't know which one's already done, there's another good news for you. There's a whole playlist of them, of every single one that I've done so far. So you can just take a look at those to see which ones I've done, or maybe go watch some more if you really like this one. And if you want to stay up to date, subscribing would help me the most, but these do come out every single Saturday of every single week. So, yeah, that's when another one would probably be posted. Let's go jump into Hothead's moveset, just like how he did with that magical oil. Starting us off, we have the Flamefire Burst and Oil Bombs. These are very intertwined moves that are very meant to work hand to hand. Literally. One hand does the burning, that's our Fire Burst. It's a flamethrower that has a little bit of a hard time turning, but does very constant damage of 20, and it can hit multiple enemies. He's semi-ranged, I would say. I say you'll probably be up close to enemies more than far away, at least in the beginning. Let me not try to get too spoilish there. But with it, it's pretty cool. But then, in the other hand, you got the oil, and you can just kind of lather people up, burn them. It does roughly like 5 to 7 chip damage. It's not like a lot. The oil itself does do like 19, 20-ish damage just by itself. And with it, it's a pretty fun duo. He does have a hard time with bigger crowds, just because even though he can hit a sizable range with his flamethrower, doesn't mean you're going to hit everybody. So there are going to be enemies that just kind of get left untouched hitting you for a while. But there is a move that is going to help with that, and that's the move right after this one. And that move is called Sizzle Shower. And we also have the Premium Grade upgrade, which just upgrades our blob to deal more damage when it connects to an enemy, and more chip-wise. But since it didn't really upgrade how many it can hit like to an enemy or something like that, I really don't care about it. The damage upgrade doesn't really matter to me, so whatever. But Sizzle Shower, on the other hand, is an actually pretty good upgrade. The only cons I can see is that, well, when it says shower, it really does mean that, because I'm pretty sure our shower head has the same radius as this thing. It is such a small circle from the beginning that you basically kind of need them to be right next to you for it to hit. It is extremely, extremely tiny. And it does do what it's supposed to do, right? It will hit everything from the north, from the south, to the west, to the east. But you really need them to be crammed next to you, and you are bound to take some damage. The nice thing about it, though, too, is that it does actually set oil ablaze. I don't know how often you can really get it to work, though. You kind of need to do it like 1-to-1, because the oil, from what I see, kind of fades away pretty quickly, because this is a very long charge-up move. It does take a bit for that fire to come down. So you kind of need to spray it and then go, but other than that, it's a pretty solid upgrade that just needs more radius, which I'm guessing we're gonna get. If not, it's gonna be a little weird. Then for the last two, we have upgrades. Turn up the heat and extended forecast. Turn up the heat is for our flamethrower. It does more damage. I like that. I like how fast-paced the flamethrower goes, and it feels a lot more beneficial comparatively to the oil. Again, the oil really isn't something that benefits a lot from getting upgrades like these, comparatively if it's like very unique. So I think the other one was pretty bland and boring, but this one's pretty good. I like the added damage to this one. And that also goes for Extended Forecast, which actually upgrades our just learned shower. Now, it still doesn't have a bigger radius, which does suck, but it does make it last longer, which is nice, especially if you just have more enemies to kind of rush in there and actually get hit by it comparatively to the first iteration of it. and it does more damage in also the same vein, and that's also pretty good because of how fast paced it is. So yeah, solid 2 last upgrades, and now we go on to the paths. On to the top path with the Burninator path, which can develop our cooking skills with internal flame and hot oil treatment to be the first to boot, which are pretty bland in the sense of that they're just upgrades just like the last 2 we saw. First one allows us to have an infinite flamethrower that does more damage, so we can hold down that button as long as we fucking want to. Is it very beneficial? I guess to maybe like bosses and stuff, but comparatively to enemies, where you really can't turn without moving forward, it's a little bit of a hard sell, I won't lie. I do like having infinite flamethrower and being able to just kind of go, like without having to stop, but at the same time, it's not super beneficial. I never really found myself to really hit the limit with just out it, so it's cool, but not practical in a very large sense. But then the other thing that we have is our oil upgrade, which does even less just because it is just allowing us to deal more damage. And again, damage is fun and all, but why in the paths where we're supposed to get a lot more exciting things? So yeah, I'm not enthused by these. Again, especially the oil one. I think an oil upgrade that really would have worked well is maybe allowing us to throw multiple types of oil out. Not in like pop fizz type of types, but just like having multiple blobs come out at one time. Just to hit multiple things, or maybe like a splash of some sort. Just so we can hit, again, multiple things with the oil at the exact same time. It would be very beneficial. It would make sense as like in a cooking path, but whatever, what do I know? We still have one more upgrade, and maybe it does exactly that. So let's go take a look and see what this is. I guess the final upgrade is kind of unique. We have fossil fuel, which allows our oil to become sentient and move. How nice is that? I'm just going to call him Blobbert for the rest of it because I find that funny. So Blobbert over here does exactly that. He just moves around and kind of targets enemies, hits them a couple times, and you can burn them. And they don't scream, but I bet you if they did have mouths, they would be screaming in eternal agony as you burn them, as they turn and swirl and dissipate. I don't know, Blobbert, no offense to you, buddy, but you're kind of lackluster in a sense. He doesn't do a lot. The main thing that I noticed that is pretty nice about him, though, is that he leaves a bigger slime trail comparatively to the normal type of oil they can throw out. Blobbert does that at least, but to everything else, I don't really see too much of a benefit to him. I think if he was able to continuously move when burning, just like a normal person, right? Like if you were hypothetically burn somebody in real life, they would like probably like fucking run. So if he did that and kind of like trailed enemies as he burned to deal pretty maximum damage there, I think that would have been a pretty fine upgrade. But him having to stop and bitch and not moan, but sit there swirling and dying, doesn't really help anybody. So Blobbert, you know, do better. Do better, Blobbert. On to the Oil Baron path, where we're going to develop our showering skills, unlike most Fortnite players. And we're starting off with Firestorm and Oil and Fire. These are actually pretty premium upgrades here, where the first one allows us to have more damage, which is pretty cool, but have a larger area of effect. So we have a longer time with it and a bigger area. And they actually mean bigger area. This is completely different to like that little small scope that we had before, and that's very beneficial. Then we have another thing that even adds even more to it, which is the Oil and Fire, which honestly I can make a case for the top path. Which allows us to do is throw out oil at the same time as we are burning, as we are flaming it down, and it obviously adds on chip-on damage to every single enemy that gets hit by it. You can roughly do 2 within one single Firestorm, and it works super well. You're basically doing the same amount of damage as a flamethrower to a larger margin. Obviously, it's not fully there, but you know, the chip-on damage added with the normal damage of the Firestorm kind of equals up to that 20-ish damage that you can do. And after it, since it lasts so long, you can just keep doing flamethrower attacks in it. So it is very beneficial. I like these 2 upgrades a lot. Comparatively to the first 2 upgrades from the top path, this is a no-brainer already to just pick. And we haven't even looked at the last one. So the bottom path is already ruling. If you even thought that the top path had a chance, Hot with a Chance of Meteors really blows out the whole fucking top path into oblivion, right? This meteor is the same type of meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs is that fucking top path. I really enjoy this upgrade, and I enjoy this whole bottom path. This allows us to summon a meteor by holding down our rain, and throw it. We play volleyball with these bastards, but they don't throw it back. And they go flying. It's a flinging type move. It does roughly 100 damage. Very nice to large crowds, right? It's a very good move. And it's a very good path. The bottom path is definitely what you should take. Comparatively to what the top one had, it's a very fun move. It honestly feels like a soul gem. Like, this feels like a soul gem. And we still have the soul gem to go. And, you know, I can't even lie to you. You know what the soul gem is. So, let's go take a look at it real quick. Time to burn rubber with the hot rod. And literally mean burn. We get to turn into a motherfucking motorcycle. This is one of the funniest soul gems for a character. And honestly, for Skylanders, this is probably one of the most memorable, at least for me. He just turns into a fucking motorcycle, man. And again, also pushes back. And it's continuous. They'll never stop you. You can keep going. The only downside of this is that you have a weird position with your fingers. You have to go from like the left side to the right side. But other than that, you can just keep fucking rolling, man. There's nothing that stops Hothead unless it's death itself. So have fun just strolling by. It's a really fun move. And again, it doing knockback is just awesome because you can't be stopped. You literally can't be stopped. Unless there's a big enemy, you can't be stopped. And yeah, it's fun, it's silly, it's goofy, it's strong. That's exactly all you need in a soul gem. That's all you need. Alrighty, after we took a look at Hothead and all of his moves, it's time for me to give my rating. And my rating on Hothead is going to be a solid 3.5 out of 5. I think he's a fun character. I find his flamethrower fun. I find his blobs to be a very nice kind of investment, you know, like just throw it out, hit enemies, it just causes chip damage over time. A very supportive style move, I like that. And the showering, the rainfire, very cool. I like that too. The oil is really what brings it down. I think all the upgrades for it kind of stink. Blobbert's kind of silly, but isn't the craziest thing out there. Maybe if he exploded at the end, again, maybe moved with the fucking enemies to like really like sizzle them would have been nicer. And maybe putting the rain like oil fire from the bottom path to the top path would have balanced out the paths a little bit better. But if you are going to play this character, I definitely think going for the bottom path is the funnest way to go. Meteor aside and the oil and just having a bigger distance on the rain is very beneficial to this character. He's very fun. He's very cool. But the whole thing is really the path and the oil getting kind of dropped the ball a bit a little there. But other than that, that's my rating on Hothead. And you know what? Actually, one more thing on him. You can't lie to me and tell me that he is not the inspiration of what a Ruptor's motorcycle is. It's gotta be, right? I looked on the wiki to see if I saw like any trivia facts on him. I didn't see it there, but it has to be. It's just too similar. Big wheel in the big... Everything's so similar. But with that all said and done, that has been Hothead Honestly Rated. Thank you for watching all the way through. It does mean a lot to me. Check out some other stuff that I have on my channel that are maybe not Skyline related if you want to. Subscribe if you want to see some other ones that come out again every single Saturday. And if you want to see more, go check out the playlist that's on my channel. Because they're all there for your viewing eye. So, until next time, thank you for watching. And I hope to see you for another Honestly Rated. Peace.